Hello, Highrock. I'm Megan. This is Abby, and welcome to a special Christmas episode of your favorite Highrock news show, Ho, Ho, Hope and Soap. Back in April 2020, Pastor Walt and I started to share stories of how Highrockers were spreading hope to their neighbors when the world seemed pretty hopeless.
Now, I know that I still have too much hair to be Pastor Walt, and we're sorry he's not here. But like much of life, the effects of social distancing have made it harder for him to join us today. It seems that all of this has just dragged on. This was supposed to be a limited quarantine release, and then we had an Advent special, and then an anniversary special, and here we are again. So yeah, it's becoming apparent that our lives aren't going to be going back to normal, and for some of us, this has left us feeling more disconnected and maybe more hopeless.
But even though we've been socially distanced for longer than we expected, we have also seen Highrockers go the distance in some really remarkable ways. They've kept connecting with God, each other, and with God's purposes in the world. As we've heard about these stories, we felt more connected, more inspired, and more hopeful. So we wanted to celebrate these stories with you and to encourage you to keep spreading hope wherever you are and however you can.
We've told a lot of stories involving food, but I've never seen anything like our first story. I want to tell you about Highrock Velasquez. Highrock connected with Highrock online in the early days of the pandemic, and he brought an incredible dream to our community. He wanted to operate a food truck to bring meals and hope to those experiencing food and housing insecurity around Boston. When Highrock contracted cancer, it felt like a dream interrupted. But that didn't stop him from spreading hope or food. He threw a pizza party for his floor and talked with his nurses about the love of Jesus. Other Highrockers jumped in to get his food truck up and running and approved for use. And now, Wheels of Hope is fully operational. Hope will literally be driving all over Boston this winter and beyond. You'll love to see it. What else have you got for us, Megan?
Oh man. Well, I have an incredible story to share too, about Evie, the Incredible. Amy and Eric Moy's lives were changed when they had their daughter Evie, who has Down syndrome. One of the best parts of having a disabled child for them has been able to see how much better life is when everyone is included and celebrated. But it can be hard to get to know someone who's different from you. And Amy realized that books can be a great way to learn about people first. When she didn't see enough books that were spreading the hope that comes from having relationships that are different from you, she decided to write one herself. The Polka Dotted Penguin is her first release and has helped classrooms, churches, and YouTube channels learn how to be kind and inclusive. This is a huge way that Amy and Evie are spreading hope for families that are disabled and enabled alike.
And Megan, well, Dottie the Penguin doesn't need a coat in the snow. People sure do. Clark Brown is a member of Highrock Cambridge and works at the Alexander Twilight Academy, an academic catalyst program for under-resourced students. In addition to providing academic support for students, she works to offer care and resources for their families as well. When her team learned that many families were in need of coats this winter, she reached out to her Highrock Cambridge family, and they answered the call. She was able to collect a bunch of coats on behalf of these students and families. Many of us probably take our coats for granted and have more than one. But not having one is a big deal. Thanks, friends, for spreading hope in this simple but significant way.
And Abby, speaking of simple but significant, it wouldn't be a Hope and Soap show without talking about some baked goods.
It sure wouldn't, Megan.
This time around, it started when Highrock Lexington's Jane Martin reached out to see if any women from the broader Highrock community might be interested in helping bake for their Winter Family Fun event on December 4th. Now, I know what you're thinking. Whip up a dozen cookies? Easy.
Fine.
Except Jane was asking for 1,000 cookies. This might have deterred some folks, but not these Highrock women. Over the course of 2 nights, the Highrock volunteers baked cookies not only for Winter Family Fun and those 400 guests, but also enough for the Jog for Joy the next day. It was a fun, safe, and hopeful time of connection for these women whose efforts cared for so many more the next days.
And you know what, Megan? Speaking of the Jog for Joy, we've got to celebrate this amazing story together. The jog happened earlier this month, and wow, it was incredible. After 2 years of not being able to have any kind of large gathering, we had an amazing kickoff jog at Highrock Metro West. And over the course of the week, Highrockers jogged for joy from Needham, to the Caribbean. I think you get a special kind of joy if you jog in the Caribbean, especially in December. This, friends, is Highrock at its best, partnering with God together to love and bless our neighbors. Over the past 3 years, we've raised over $50,000 in support of mental health for teens, and we had a total blast doing it. A big Hope and Soap thank you to all of you who jogged, walked, sauntered, donated, volunteered, or contributed in any way to make this special event happen.
And while the Jog for Joy may feel like a big way that folks loved and cared for their neighbors, sometimes the biggest hope can come in the smallest packages. For a great example, look no further than Hope and Soap superfans Cora and Millie Robertson. After watching our show week in and week out, they decided to spread a little hope of their own this holiday season. They drew an inspirational picture and baked cupcakes to deliver to their friends and neighbors. Additionally, they participated in a toy collection to welcome a family of Afghan refugees to Arlington. These are the stories we need right now. And so to Cora, Millie, and all of the kids watching our show, we believe in you. Thank you for teaching all of us how to love God and love our friends better.
There are so many ways that God is moving in and through our church community. It's more than just the two of us can tell. So we enlisted the help of our brand new intern, Pastor Dave, to take it to the streets and ask some of our pastors and staff where they're seeing hope through Highrockers.
Thanks, Megan and Abby. I'm here at Highrock Lexington, and a lot of our staff are working here today, so we're going to walk around and find out what's giving people hope this year. Hey, Greg, what's giving you hope this year?
Well, at Cambridge, we're seeing lots of people build new relationships even after such a long time away. We even got to have a retreat this past October where 40-something people came away to just build connections with each other, and we're now seeing small groups grow, new friendships be formed, and lots of high-quality acquaintances as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
This past weekend, we had our Christmas Family Fun event, and we had so many people come out for this event, and so we're really excited about the year ahead, that people know we're here now, and so we can actually show the love of Christ to them, to our neighbors here in the greater Lexington and Waltham area. So we're really hopeful for the future.
One of the things that really filled me with hope is to see so many Highrockers opening their homes for internationals who can't themselves get home for the holidays. And my family has actually been really inspired by that, and we're doing the exact same thing.
You know that I love community, and so I'm super excited that a bunch of Japanese ESLers from Highrock have moved back to Japan, and they're eager to stay connected. And so we started a once-a-month Zoom gathering with 21 women who want to stay connected with us.
What's giving you hope this year?
Hope this year. Well, the Jog for Joy gives me hope for sure. It was a great event this past Sunday. Tons of people turned out. We gave away a bunch of money. It's fantastic. But really, the Jog for Joy points to something that gives me hope, which is at Highrock Church, you don't have to choose between following Jesus and using the science for mental health. We can have a conversation that includes both, and it gives me hope for your kids and my kids that they're growing up in a church where both of those things are embraced and that they can follow Jesus and get the help that they need in the same place.
What gives me hope each week is when I show up at church or at youth group and see all these leaders serving kids at Kids Rock and at youth group, just bringing them back into community after all the isolation and loneliness they experienced. So thankful that they're there, and particularly one leader had a student in her group that just wasn't able to engage fully in all the youth activity and was on the outside, and the leader spent the whole night with that student, slowly reconnecting with them and then helping them reconnect with the community. And that's what we need, and it gives me hope that we have leaders doing that with our kids and our students, and it just makes me feel like God is with us, and we're going to get there. We're making it. We're getting there, and God is good.
That's great. great. Thanks. How about you?
Yeah, similarly, so we have this group of students called CIA, which just shortly is basically kids who come to youth group and are like, I want more of this. I want deeper connections, deeper relationships. And so we invite them into this. And normally it's been something we've done, but this year I kind of postponed it, but students kept being like, Michael, let's do this, let's do this. So finally we put it together. And a story to encapsulate how amazing this group is I invited them all to the Jog for Joy. And they were there. They ran, they served, they cheered, they ate a lot of the food. So that's probably where most of it went. And one student actually won her age group. And what was really beautiful to see was all the other CIA students cheering her on and getting so excited. And so I'm just excited and hopeful for what that group's going to bring this year.
Oh, well, I'd say one of the biggest things that I've seen is I get to be part of conversations with people. Sometimes it's in counseling or in discipleship, but I feel like this past year people have really taken it to another level to be really serious about the relationships, whether that's the relationship with God or they're in their marriages and things, and I get to be a part of that. And that's such a privilege, and it's really what gives me hope is when I see people take that invitation of God seriously and are willing to follow God into new places in their lives. It's a great thing. That's what gives me hope.
What's given me hope is the incredible generosity of our congregants. It's really pretty amazing.
Well, there you have it, Megan and Abby. We have so many of these great stories about what God is doing around Highrock that is giving people hope. And I've got so many stories of my own. If I could just share one of the things that I've been so encouraged by is every time I go to one of our congregations on a Sunday, every time this fall, I've met someone who is at church for the first time. You know, a lot of people have questions and needs, and they're coming in and finding the answers to those questions in Christian community. That has been super encouraging. I know a lot of people are dealing with loneliness and depression, and we're able to offer community and hope. Well, with that, back to you.
Thanks, Pastor Dave. Wow, Abby, I could really see that intern having a place at this anchor desk before too long.
I think sometime soon.
So, Abby, we've heard from some of our colleagues about the places that they are seeing hope at Highrock, and you and I work a lot with our digital church, Highrock Online. Is there a story of hope from Highrock Online this last year?
Yeah, it's given me so much hope to see people use a digital platform, which we think could be so disconnected, but actually people with disabilities or people who aren't able to go out to be in a physical church location or have experienced trauma in a church setting, to be able to find community and find a way to engage with church online and really build friendships in that space.
It's incredible. And I think that points to what we are seeing as providing hope in this world that feels very disconnected. It's that Highrockers are creating communities that are full of compassion and love, and that it is helping create this connection that all of us are so desperately longing for. So friends, the pandemic might be stretching on, and there might be times where you feel disconnected and a little hopeless. But when that happens, remember, there are Highrockers all around that you can look to for inspiration about how you can be a part of creating hope in your communities and beyond. And so friends, until next time, remember, use that soap, spread that hope.